powerful.
And Brad, I've known you a little bit, and your attitude is inspiring, and it's your dad that you actually say really is the one that helped you really craft a sense of yourself in the world. Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, my dad, well, just to tell you, both my parents are tall. Dwarves are not like gremlins. It's not like you get one of them wet, then like 4 pop out. It's not how it works. My dad's tall, and when I was born, he knew that I would encounter hardships in my life. So his philosophy was not to shelter me away from the world and hide me from the hardships, but to make fun of me first. He would constantly make fun of me, but do it in a safe environment where he would say, all right, I just made fun of you, now hit me back. Get me with something. So that taught me from a very young age that, yeah, people are going to make fun of me, and when they do, I could easily hit them back with a quick insult, and then they go like, oh, wow, okay, there's a brain in that big, massive head of his. I really credit him for instilling that attitude within me, and I find it quite sad that a lot of little people don't have that they identify themselves as victims, and not just little people, but other people with disabilities, and that's really not the case. You can really use whatever hand you've been dealt to empower yourself and really make an impression on people.
Tanya Lee, did you have somebody like that in your life as well?
I don't think I had anybody specifically. I just, from a young age, I just was able to overcome stuff and just roll with the punches. I mean, people made fun of me, but I was able to come up with kind of few zingers. I was a little bit more introverted. Comedy was actually what really brought me out of my shell.
I've heard you say, though, that, as I've heard many comedians say, that comedy does come from a source of pain. Is that where you draw from?
Well, it's funny because I never aspired to be a comedian, and growing up, of course, I got bullied and made fun of. My bike got thrown up on the school roof and stuff like that, and, you know, kids are cruel.
What?
Yes, I know. My tricycle.
Your bike got thrown on the roof? Why did they have to throw it on the roof? They could have just used a high table or something. That would have done the trick for you.
Exactly. You're such a jerk. Yes, and...
Well, speaking of being a jerk, Brad, tell us, if you wouldn't mind sharing this one story that you told me once about a father that came up to you with his son, and tell us that story about you being one of Santa's elves.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, is it's almost impossible to offend a comedian because we've heard everything, and especially being a dwarf, I've heard stuff way before I even started in the world of stand-up. The only time I really got kind of offended was a dad once came up to me with his child. Now, the child had been staring at me. I don't care if a kid stares at me. They're blank slates. They don't know. This is new to them, so it's okay. But he brings up his child to talk to me, which is exactly what you should do. That way you can get the answer from the source. And the dad opens his mouth first and says, yes, son, just like I told you. Right, sir? You're one of Santa's elves, and you're working undercover. Wink, wink. And I'm just sitting there like, what? No, but I can't get upset because then if I get mad, then that child's impression of all little people is going to be they're angry. So I paused for a second, and I looked at the kid, and I said, yes, I am one of Santa's elves. I am working undercover. But don't worry. You've been very good all year. You're getting everything that you want. You're getting an Xbox. You're getting a new TV. Does your family have a pool? No, my family doesn't have a pool. You're getting a pool, okay? The only way you're not going to get a pool and everything that you want is if your dad failed to fill out the proper paperwork. And the dad looks at me just like, what is wrong with you? I can't do this. I can't afford this. It's like, dude, you open Pandora's box. Don't be afraid of what comes out, man.